Imagine trying to sell over 13,000 unique products online. Like, you have the inventory, you have the market demand, but your digital storefront is just, well, it's stuck in the past.
Right. And imagine turning that exact problem into a 134% increase in new users and a 69% jump in actual revenue.
And this isn't one of those we tweaked a button color stories.
Yeah, no. We are talking about what actually moved the needle.
If you've ever wondered what it really takes to turn a struggling online store into a growth engine, stick around.
Welcome to Trevera's AI Deep Dive podcast, hosted by Chip and Nova, our AI co-hosts. Together, they transform top marketing insights from our blogs, articles, and events into actionable strategies you can use. Ready to dive in? Let's get started.
Welcome to another Trevera Deep Dive. I'm your host, Chip.
And I'm Nova. It is so great to be here.
We are incredibly excited today. As proud members of Team Trevera, our mission for this deep dive is to open up a brand new case study.
Fresh from the Trevera client portfolio.
Exactly. We're going to examine exactly what we did for a fantastic client of ours, Rockford Map. They are the country's leading provider of plat maps.
And we're going to look at how a complete e-commerce website redesign, followed by a really targeted digital marketing strategy, completely transformed their business.
But before we celebrate those massive revenue wins, Nova, we really need to establish the baseline.
Oh, for sure. We have to look at the problem they were facing when they joined the Trevera family back in 2022. Because they weren't just looking for a superficial facelift, you know?
Right. They were an industry leader. They were hungry for more market share. But their digital infrastructure was just a massive liability.
It was. And for anyone tuning in who might not be deep in the weeds of, like, real estate or land development, let's establish what a plat map actually is.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it is essentially a highly detailed, localized map that shows the divisions of a piece of land.
Right. It details property lines, acreage, land ownership.
Very critical, highly specific data. And Rockford Map has a massive catalog of this, over 13,000 unique individual products.
Which, as you can imagine, brings a very specific set of technical challenges.
Oh, I bet. So what was the actual roadblock they hit in 2022?
Well, it was multifaceted. Their brand needed a visual refresh just to actually reflect their status as an industry leader, but the existing website was severely outdated. And the most critical issue, the one really threatening their future growth, was the back end. It was notoriously difficult to manage internally.
You and I weren't here back then, so I was looking through the project records and trying to visualize the mechanical failure happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Because when we say a content management system, a CMS, is difficult to manage, it usually means the database architecture is just fundamentally misaligned with the scale of the company.
Exactly. It's not just that the buttons look old, right?
Well, no, it's like, imagine managing a massive 13,000 book library where someone took the card catalog, ripped it to shreds, and just threw it on the floor.
That is the perfect analogy, Chip.
Like, the books are still in the building, but the retrieval and updating system takes 10 times longer than it should.
It does. From a technical standpoint, a legacy CMS managing that many items suffers from serious database bloat and query inefficiency. Every single time a user, or even an internal employee, searches for a specific map, the server is forced to scan thousands of unoptimized rows of data.
Which obviously drains server resources.
Huge drain, which slows down the site for the customer, but it also drains human resources.
Because they're waiting on it.
Right. Every time the Rockford Map team wanted to update a product or change a price or add a new map to their inventory, they were fighting a system that simply wasn't built to scale.
Which means your marketing team is suddenly spending their whole week doing tedious data entry and troubleshooting instead of, well, actually marketing.
Yeah, you're entirely halting your own scalability. You cannot aggressively expand your market share if your internal team is bogged down wrestling with an uncooperative back-end system.
You're constantly playing defense.
Exactly. And Rockford Map recognized this bottleneck. Their immediate needs were very clear. They needed a modern, responsive e-commerce CMS that was frictionless to edit.
Right.
They needed back-end technology to automate their business processes and a stable launch pad for an ongoing digital marketing strategy.
So, the instinct for a lot of companies in that position is to just buy an off-the-shelf theme.
Oh, totally. Just a quick fix.
Slap a new coat of paint on the website and start running ads. But the case study points out that our team started with a deep strategic discovery process.
We did.
Why spend time on discovery when the client already knows they just need a faster website?
Because a 13,000 product e-commerce site isn't just a digital brochure. It's a digital storefront. It's a complex database and a checkout counter, all operating simultaneously.
That's a lot of moving parts.
Right. So if you skip the discovery phase, you end up building a beautiful site that solves the wrong problems. During strategic discovery, we map the exact user journeys. We look at the client's competition, their customers' behaviors, and importantly, their internal fulfillment processes.
Give me an example of that. Like, how does understanding customer behavior actually change the code you write or the interface you design?
Okay, think about the end user for a plat map. You have two very distinct profiles. On one hand, you have a title researcher sitting at a corporate desk with a high-speed internet connection and dual monitors. On the other hand, you have a land surveyor standing in the middle of a muddy field, using a smartphone on a spotty 3G cellular connection, trying to figure out where a property line ends.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So if you build a heavy desktop-first site, that surveyor in the field is going to stare at a loading screen for 2 minutes and then just give up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The interface and the database queries have to be lightweight and responsive enough to load instantly on a phone, but robust enough to allow complex searches by county, year, or acreage for that desktop user.
That makes so much sense.
You can't design that dual experience effectively if you don't map those user intents during discovery, and you also have to analyze the client's internal processes so you can build a backend that actually automates their specific workflow.
Instead of forcing them to adapt to some generic software template.
Exactly. Which brings us to the actual technical build.
Right. Coming out of that discovery phase, Team Trivera delivered a complete overhaul.
We did. On the visual side, we modernized the brand identity with an updated logo and a comprehensive brand style template.
Which is crucial. That instant visual authority is so important when you're the premier provider in the country.
Oh, absolutely. But under the hood, we developed a custom, easy-to-use e-commerce website built on a WordPress CMS.
Okay, I have to push back on this a little bit, Nova, because I think a lot of people hear the word WordPress and they think of, like, a lifestyle blog.
Yeah.
Or maybe a small local bakery's website.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
How on earth does a platform known for blogging successfully house, search, and support over 13,000 enterprise-level data products without buckling under the weight?
It is a really common misconception about WordPress, Chip. And it really comes down to an understanding that WordPress by itself isn't the full story. What makes this work is WooCommerce.
Okay, so let's define that. What is WooCommerce exactly?
WooCommerce is a powerful e-commerce platform built specifically for WordPress. It essentially transforms a WordPress site from a content platform into a fully functional online store. Product catalogs, search, inventory, checkout, payment processing, all of it.
So it's not just bolted on, it's deeply integrated.
Exactly. And that's why it's Trivera's preferred e-commerce solution for WordPress clients. It gives us flexibility, scalability, and control. We're not locked into a rigid one-size-fits-all system. We can configure it to match the exact business model, not force the business to adapt to the software.
But out of the box, WooCommerce still isn't built for 13,000 highly specific data products, right?
Correct. But this is where the real work happens. WooCommerce provides the engine, but how that engine is tuned, that's, well, everything.
So what did Team Trivera actually do differently here?
This is where WooCommerce really becomes powerful, because it allows us to take everything we uncovered during the discovery process and actually operationalize it inside the platform.
So you're not just installing a plugin and calling it a day.
Not even close. We're taking those insights and structuring product data using custom attributes, categories, and taxonomies that mirror how people actually search for plat maps. County, year, acreage, all of it is intentionally organized.
So instead of chaos, you've got
structure.
Structure.
Exactly. And then we combine that with performance-focused implementation. Clean database relationships, optimized queries, and a streamlined interface. So when someone searches for something, say like Winnebago County, the system isn't digging through everything. It's going straight to the exact match.
That's a huge difference.
It is. And just as important, the Rockford map team can manage it easily. Adding products, updating pricing, maintaining accuracy, all without fighting the system.
So the technical win isn't just speed, it's usability.
Right. WooCommerce gives us the foundation. But it's Trivera's expertise, guided by discovery, that turns it into a scalable, high-performance e-commerce system.
Wow. So we've essentially taken that massive, chaotic library from my analogy earlier, installed a state-of-the-art digital cataloging system, and automated the checkout desk.
That's exactly what we did.
And the downstream effect of that is what I find so fascinating. Time saved on back-end struggles. It's time the client's team can now spend on actual strategy. We're turning a technical liability into an operational surplus.
Operational efficiency is the absolute fuel for scaling. We worked closely with our marketing team to deliver this highly user-friendly e-commerce experience.
Yeah.
But the quiet victory here is that if a marketing director isn't fighting a clunky CMS for 5 hours a week just to keep the inventory accurate, they suddenly have 5 hours to dedicate to strategic growth initiatives.
Which perfectly sets up the second half of this transformation. But we're actually going to take a quick break here, because building a beautifully efficient 13,000 product website is a monumental achievement. But
a perfectly organized warehouse in the middle of the digital desert doesn't generate revenue.
exactly, people have to actually find it.
Yeah.
So coming up after the break, we are going to dive into how Team Trivera transitioned from the development phase to a targeted digital marketing strategy.
And we are going to unveil the staggering statistics that followed. You don't want to miss these numbers.
Stick around, we'll be right back. Hard to believe, Nova. This year marks 30 years of Trivera helping businesses grow online.
And the pace of change right now, Chip, it's relentless. Websites, SEO, geo-targeting, content strategy, analytics, AI. What worked even last year isn't enough this year.
That's why for 3 decades, smart marketers have partnered with Trivera for high-performance websites and ROI-driven digital strategy. We blend proven fundamentals with emerging tech, so our clients don't chase trends. They lead with strategy.
Clear positioning, rock-solid website development, and a digital ecosystem built for performance, not just traffic.
If Q1 is already flying by and your digital results aren't where they should be,
Don't wait for Q2 to fix it. Visit Trivera.com, start the conversation, and let's build a digital strategy that actually moves the needle.
Trivera, 30 years in, and we're just getting started.
Welcome back to Trivera's AI Deep Dive. Now back to our conversation with Chip and Nova.
Welcome back to our deep dive.
All right, so Nova, the client's digital house is now in perfect order. But we need to explain how Team Trivera drove high-value traffic through the front door.
Yes, and this is where the sequence of events becomes so critical. The case study notes that post-launch, the focus pivoted to aggressive digital marketing efforts,
Okay.
specifically SEO, which is search engine optimization, and PPC, pay-per-click advertising. The primary goal was to generate highly qualified website traffic that would ultimately convert into sales.
I want to focus on that sequence for a moment, actually, because a business owner looking at their flat revenue might ask, well, why wait until after the website was completely rebuilt to start running pay-per-click ads?
That's a great question.
Right. Like if they wanted market share so badly, why not run the ads simultaneously while the new site was being coded?
Because doing that is essentially subsidizing your own failure.
Oh, wow. Subsidizing your own failure.
Yeah, it's the concept of conversion friction. If you spend your marketing budget on a highly targeted pay-per-click ad, you are paying for every single person who clicks that link.
Right. That's real money out the door.
Exactly. And if that potential customer clicks the ad and lands on a slow, outdated, difficult-to-navigate legacy website, the friction is just too high. They are going to bounce.
Yeah, they're gone.
They will leave the site without buying anything, and you have just paid real money for a click that generated zero return on investment.
You're basically paying for a billboard pointing to a store where the front door is jammed shut.
That is exactly it. But when you fix the store first, everything changes. By sending that paid traffic to a newly optimized, frictionless, highly responsive e-commerce platform, your conversion rates skyrocket.
Because there's nothing in their way anymore.
Right. You remove every possible barrier between the user's intent to purchase and the actual checkout button.
And the SEO side of things, the organic search that benefits directly from the technical build too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because if those 13,000 products are living on a custom architecture that loads instantly, Google's web crawlers can actually read and index that massive catalog properly.
That is the perfect synergy between development and marketing. For a niche data product like Plat Maps, you aren't just trying to rank for the broad word map.
Right, that would be way too broad.
You are targeting long-tail search intent. Someone is typing a very specific query into Google, like 2023 property line plat map for Ogle County.
Very specific.
And because our custom taxonomy perfectly organizes that data, Google serves up the exact product page.
And the statistical wins that followed this two-pronged approach are just phenomenal.
They are so good.
Let's look at the key site improvements post-launch. We saw a 118% increase in overall sessions.
Massive.
We saw a 134% increase in new users. And, the metric that actually keeps the lights on, a massive 69% increase in revenue.
Those numbers are staggering when you consider the context, Chip. A 69% revenue jump for a company that is already the country's leading provider in their space.
Yeah, they weren't exactly small potatoes before.
No, they weren't starting from zero. They were starting from the top. And they still managed to capture that much more market share just by fixing their infrastructure and aligning their search intent.
I really want to highlight the correlation in these metrics for you guys listening, because I think it proves the viability of the entire strategy. Generating a 134% increase in new users is great.
It's awesome.
It means the SEO and PPC campaigns are working, you are casting a wider net, and you're getting more eyeballs. But getting traffic isn't the same as making money.
So true.
Sometimes you see companies spike their traffic with a clever ad campaign, but their revenue barely moves because the traffic is low quality. The fact that they captured a 69% increase in actual revenue proves that the targeted traffic and the new WordPress user experience were a perfect match.
It proves that the people arriving on the site weren't just informational searchers or window shoppers.
Right.
They were highly qualified leads arriving at a digital storefront that made it incredibly easy for them to give Rockford Map their money. The friction was completely gone.
And the client definitely felt that impact. We have a great testimonial quote from Charlie Lund, the president of Rockford Map.
Oh, I love this quote.
He said, and I quote, "Working with Trivera has been a great experience for Rockford Map. From the initial planning and design of the new website through implementation and the ongoing changes that we make, they get the job done. Their expertise in technology and digital marketing have been extremely beneficial to our company."
I think the most telling phrase in that testimonial is ongoing changes.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
It speaks to a fundamental truth about modern e-commerce that a lot of businesses actually miss. A website is never really finished.
Right.
It is not a static piece of collateral like a printed brochure. It is a living ecosystem that requires constant tuning, split testing, and optimization.
Which goes all the way back to the very first problem we discussed today. If your website is a living ecosystem that requires constant tuning, you absolutely cannot survive on a legacy CMS that takes your team hours just to change a headline.
Exactly. An easy-to-use backend isn't a luxury. It is the prerequisite for an agile marketing strategy. You can't separate the underlying technology from the marketing execution. They have to work in perfect harmony, feeding off each other.
And that reality brings us to a really important point of reflection for anyone tuning into this deep dive today.
Yeah, we want you to think about this.
Whether you are managing a massive e-commerce catalog or trying to generate leads for a B2B service, you have to evaluate your own digital footprint objectively. Is your current website infrastructure actively holding back your revenue potential?
Are you asking your marketing team to hit modern, aggressive business goals while forcing them to struggle with an old, bottlenecked system?
That is the ultimate diagnostic question. If you are listening to this case study and realizing that your digital storefront is acting more like an anchor than a sail, well, it is time to do something about it.
It really is. We are incredibly proud of the work our team did for Rockford Map, and if you are ready to put this exact level of expertise to work for your own digital marketing strategy,
Which you absolutely should be.
if you want to see what happens when your technology and your marketing finally align, it is time to reach out.
Definitely. You can contact Jamie, our strategic contact here at Trivera, to start mapping out your company's path to real, measurable growth. Just go to trivera.com and use the contact form there. You can stop by our headquarters on Main Street here in downtown Menomonee Falls, Wisconsin, in the back of the historic mill building.
That's the one with the big lion out front.
Yep. Or call the team at 262-250-9400.
As we wrap up our analysis of this project, I want to leave everyone listening with one final thought to mull over regarding your own operations.
All right, lay it on us, Nova.
Imagine a scenario where a massive PR win or a highly successful ad campaign suddenly doubles your website traffic tomorrow. Would your current back-end technology act as a frictionless springboard to capture all of that new revenue? Or would it buckle under the pressure, frustrate the users, and leave money on the table? Build the right infrastructure first so that when the traffic arrives, you're actually ready for it.
You have to build the engine before you hit the gas. That is all the time we have for this Trivera Deep Dive. Please be sure to download this audio, subscribe to the feed so you never miss our future case studies, and share this with a colleague who loves a good digital success story.
Thank you so much for diving deep with Team Trivera.
Catch you next time.
Thanks for joining us on Trivera's AI Deep Dive with Chip and Nova. If you enjoyed this episode, you can find more and stay up to date with new episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, or find them on our website and our social media channels. And don't forget to visit us at Trivera.com to learn how we can help take your marketing to the next level. Ready to talk? Reach out. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.